to recover from that rather daring illustration of an infinite loop. So let's get back to talking about, okay, so it's often an accident, usually because you forgot to increment a counter variable, or the test variable, however you want to refer to it for your while loop. So let's ignore those. We want to avoid those. It turned out to be very difficult to stop that from the notebook. But there are times when an infinite loop can be useful in conjunction with a break statement. And so here, illustrating that we can use a while loop. We want the user to, say, for example, enter an even number. We can keep prompting them to enter a number until it is even and then break out of the loop. So in this case, I'm doing while true. So this loop will run forever. But there is a condition in here where if the condition is met, if y is an even number, then we're going to break out of the loop. So let's look at this. Oops, that's not what I was looking for. I was on the wrong cell. Okay, so let's try this. So enter a number, a 9. It's not an even number. Keeps asking me for another one. Keep going, 99, until I enter an even number. And then it breaks out of the loop and prints the value that I entered. So very useful construct for, say, getting data input that matches what we're asking for from the user. We can do this in a different way where it's not using an infinite loop, but in this case I have to initialize my test value, which in this case is going to be num, and I set it to equal to -1. And as long as num is less than 0, I'm going to keep going through this loop, and what I'm asking for is for a non-negative number. And we can look at the behavior here. I enter a value 9, keeps prompting me for something until I enter a value that matches the criteria that it's looking for. And here I'm doing a summation, and in this case we have to initialize two variables, our counter variable x and the sum that we're going to be adding to, and we can do the summation with this while loop. While functions have an else statement that can optionally be used, and I don't think I've ever actually used it, but it is a construct that's there. And what it's going to do is it's going to have a block of code that's executed at the completion of the while loop. So let's come up here to Python 3, compound statements, while. See if they're going to have any useful explanation for us here. Well, we'll look into that in some different context.